mm from inferior limbus, extending 2 to 7 o'clock hours, measuring 6 into 3 mm with stains of fluorescein. There was an arc-shaped dense stromal infiltrate 2 mm from temporal limbus, approximately 2 millimeters wide from 5 to 9 o'clock position, and a comma-shaped dense stromal infiltrate at superior-nasal quadrant extending from 1 to 4 o'clock position, measuring 5 into 2. Surrounded by diffuse infiltrates, stromal haze, multiple SPKs and edema. Corneal sensations were absent, AC was formed, details could not be appreciated. So this is a slit lamp photo. We can see there was a paracentral circular ulcer here, the arc-shaped stromal infiltrate which extended from 5 to 9 o'clock, and a full thick dense stromal infiltrate. This was a stain positive area. So given the long history of symptoms, an episode of fever, non-healing ulcer, unresponsive to antifungal treatment, clinical picture, and absent corneal sensation, he was provisionally diagnosed as first herpetic stromal keratitis or secondly as acanthamoeba keratitis. He was advised corneal scraping but the patient refused, so he was managed with eye drop acyclovir 3% 5 times a day and tablet acyclovir 400 mg 5 times a day. On 3 days follow-up, there was no improvement. So given the clinical appearance of peripheral multifocal like densities, stromal infiltrate, history of contact with contaminated water, a clinical suspicion of acanthamoeba keratitis was raised. Corneal scraping for ulcer bed and margins was sent for wet mount and gram stain, and on wet mount on saline we noted acanthamoeba trophocytes which demonstrated pinocytosis and pseudopodia. So the antiviral treatment was discontinued and he was started on hydrochlorhexidine 0.02%, which was freshly prepared by diluting commercially available chlorhexidine 0.2% mouthwash and tafluconazole 150 mg twice a day. On 3 days, we saw notable improvement with reduced pain, swelling, increased eye opening. There was reduced conjunctival congestion, stromal infiltrates, and corneal edema. On 3 weeks, he had no symptoms. Ulcer size was reduced to 1 to 2 mm. At 3 months, he had a healed small paracentral macular corneal opacity, a central lamella corneal opacity with a BCD of 660. So this was a picture on day 1 of presentation. Day 3 after we started the treatment. At 3 weeks, the ulcer size was reduced, and at 3 months, it was stain negative. There was corneal opacity left, and the eye was almost quiet. So, AQ is a rare condition caused by free-living amoeba, which induces severe pain corneal stromal ring infiltrate. A study by Zhang et al. On global epidemiology documented an increased incidence of 15.2 cases per million population. In South Asia, it is linked to water-related activities and environmental exposure rather than contact lens use. Its a protracted course may manifest initially as diffuse epitheliopathy, which mimic clinical signs of herpes simplex or fungal keratitis, which complicates the diagnosis. Neurotropy and arc-like peripheral stromal infiltrate is reported in late-stage fungal ulcers as per Siu et al. Atypical presentation may show hyperpigmentation, erythritis, reduced corneal sensations. It may present with minimal pain as per case reports of G. tabinata. Performing wet mount is more cost-effective and accessible method of diagnosing AK with a sensitivity of 91% as reported by N.J. Virati et al. So my conclusion is, misdiagnosis leads to atypical ulcer morphologies that do not usually align with typical fungal or acanthamoeba keratitis, which complicates the treatment. Absence of typical features like ring infiltrate should not dismiss the disease as a possibility. A history of contact with contaminated water should be routinely asked in case of ulcers, especially in Southeast Asian countries. The use of topical chlorhexidine 0.02% eye drops and oral fluconazole is sufficient for acanthamoeba treatment, and regular long-term follow-up visits should be emphasized. These are my references. Thank you.